Okay guys, here we are for Friday night 9 ball again. But first things first, I want to wish you all a happy new year, because Friday night 9 ball this week happens to land on January the 1st 2016, and this is a first round match. We've got SickPool, who's from England, and he's playing Djreedu. Now let's find out where he's from. He's from Germany, and of course it's race to 7, it's handicapped, it's double elimination, and we've got Djreedu, who's player 2 in the HUD up top, and he's getting 7 and out, so that means he's got the 7, the 8 and the 9 ball as his money ball. I just tried to play the safety there, played it a wee bit too hard, and he's left SickPool the chance of a bank here. Now the question is whether he goes for it or tries to just keep it safe. It's risky because he makes a mistake in this 5 ball, he's practically handing the rack to his opponent, and well, I think the end result's going to be the case, because he scratched 5 balls, banked across the table and kicked the cue ball in. So Djreedu just needs to sink the 5 and sink the 7, and that will be him up by 1 rack to 0. And this is where the better players get punished when they make mistakes. I mean, the handicap's there for a reason, and if the player who's expected to win it makes an odd mistake and the underdog capitalises on it, like you've seen there, that's why matches are so easily won and lost by 1 mistake. So while we're in the beginning of the second rack, let's have a look at the brackets, and we'll just magnify these up a bit for my eyes. Right, we've got Mr. Bill, who's playing Good Time, and Mr. Bill's up against it in that match because Good Time's getting 5 and out. That's the maximum handicap you can get, so he's got 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 balls as his money balls, so that's a tough one. We've got Hustling Howie, who's playing Senny, Gunnit, who has a bye. We've got Popman playing Wizard Cheat, and the match that we're looking right now is SickPool and Djreedu, and Wolfpack is playing Instigator, and One Arm Bandit's the other player with a bye, and the final match in the first round is Master 7 against It's Me. So don't forget, these guys, whoever loses in that first round match, they go over to the 1 loss side, so they've still got a second chance. Right, let's see where we are. Well, Djreedu has managed to get the double bank there on the 4. He tried to run that 4 off the 8, knock the 8 in. That would have won him the rack, remember. But again, he just needs to pot this 6 and 7 ball. So it's all about position. And he's using a bit of common sense, didn't try anything flashy, just played the simple roll through. Oh, that almost just crept past that jaw there. But anyway, it's now 2-0 to Djreedu. And 8 ball goes into the right middle. He's got a tough cut on the 1. I think he tried to cut that back into the middle. I thought it would have been better to cut it into that top left, top left hand corner as we look at it. But anyway, the balls are all in the open sort of, so SickPool needs to take his chance. And what's happened here? Oh dear, well, that's the worst place in the table the cue ball's ever going to finish. Right behind the jaw, and he's hooked. And now he's got to somehow try and kick this 2 ball I don't think he can get past the 9 to make the angle by the right middle pocket. So he's tried to spin it, and that didn't work. So ball in hand, but now Djreedu is going to be tested, and straight away he's just played a too soft draw shot on that 3, or he's overhit it. He's trying to cut it into the corner, and again just flashed at it. Need to slow down and take your time. I think he's got away with it again, has he? No, he hasn't. And any mistakes from here on in, and SickPool will get punished again probably. Well, there's the first mistake. He's underhit that one, and he tried to tuck the cue ball behind the 6 and 7 there, and I don't think he's done it. But Djreedu's going to be asked an awful lot here to pot this 5 and somehow get onto the 6. Well, that's as good as I would think he could get. I'd be happy with that. Still a shot at the 6, and he needs to hit this hard enough to get the cue ball. Well, then again, he's done a wise thing. He shows you he's thinking in his feet. He could have went for the cut in the 6, but he's went for the safety, and this is putting pressure on SickPool because it's not an easy 6 ball, this. You can see enough of it to cut it, and the pressure's on to get it. And he's overdone it. Oh, it's just gone in. Well, it now looks as if he's going to manage to get himself on the scoreboard here. But that 7 ball looked as if it was missing, and it just squeezed in. So we've now got SickPool off the mark and breaking in rack number 4. And he's come up dry. Well, again, Djreedu looked as if he was trying to bang that one onto the 7, because remember that's one of his money balls, and trying for an early out in this rack. But I think you need to think a wee bit more wisely in your shots rather than flashing out at them. But as it is, we've got a bit of a mess up at the top end of the table as we look. And this is not looking that it's improved the situation. Is that 2-4 a combo? Let's have a quick look, see. Well, no it isn't, so he can use the 4 as a stopper and try and get the cue ball at the table possibly. Well, I think he's made an error there, because I think he's actually missed it in the way up and hit it in the way back, but he'll take that though. He's left a snooker. Oh, well. There you are, stranger things will happen. Djreedu snookered, and he manages to hit the ball, and in it goes. And again, he plays a wise shot. again, end result is the mistake's been made. So now he's got to somehow try and move this 4 ball, because I certainly don't think it's going to pot in that pocket. I think it's squeezed up against the 6. And remember, with ball in hand, again he's tried a combo. Well, SickPool might actually try a billiard here off this 3 and onto the 9. And if he's going to do that, he's going to cut this 3 into the 4 and 6 and open it up. Well, no, again, he's thinking a bit more sensibly as well. Decides to tie his opponent up. Now he's just played a deliberate foul. And SickPool needs to play this shot with inside English. If he's going to thin that 3 ball, he needs to try and get spin on it to spin the cue ball off this bottom rail and over to the right as we look. I don't know whether he can get enough on it though, we'll soon find out. Has he got the spin? Well, I think he's just got enough, and I don't think there's enough of that ball shown to be able to hit it, so he had to kick it. Now, was that a legal shot? Did he actually hit it? I don't know. Yes, he did. Well, that was good. And he's got away with it. Again, we're now down to the nitty gritty part of the rack. That 7 ball in the middle of the table is certainly odds on that it's going to be the money ball, because the 8 and the 9 are tied up on the left hand side. SickPool's managed to manufacture a combo there with a 3 and a 4. And he's got to be thinking about what he's going to do with this 8 and 9. Needs to get some sort of angle on the 7. And that isn't perfect. Now he could try playing this with inside English, cut the 7 ball in, bounce the cue ball off the bottom rail, push it to the right side rail and back down and up the table to try and get into the 8 and the 9. But as it is, he's decided that's too risky and tried to just push it safe. So this is an open invitation here for Djreedu just to try some sort of bank or a cut, which he did. And that would have won him the rack. And now I think SickPool will try and tuck him up behind this 8 and 9 here. He needs to get this very thin though. It's difficult to see whether he can manage to accomplish that. No, it looks too delicate a shot. Is he going to line up, try the combo in the 8? Yeah, he's got it. Now how's his luck in the 7? Well, that's handy. The 7's gone in as well. So after that nervy start, SickPool will be quite happy now. He's back in level terms. Well, he's came up dry again. Now we're at a point where all the balls are in the open. SickPool's at the table. He's in control. And again, a player with a 2,300 rating is expected to run this rack. Now, he tried to get delicate there, a soft draw shot in the 1, and he's drawn it into the middle pocket. So ball in hand to Djreedu. And he's comboed the 2 and the 8, and very quickly he goes back into a 3-2 lead. And that's the punishment for making errors. That's what it's all about, making the most of your handicap. He gets the ball on the break, but once again he's got no joy, so he's going to push out. Now again, he needs to think about where he's pushing, and that 1 ball is not in a great position to actually encourage you to play a good push out here. Well, he's tried his best to make it awkward. That's not going to go. Overcut it. But again, I think he's got cover here maybe. Oh no. Well, things are going against Djreedu. I didn't think he'd even see that one there, but he managed to catch an edge of it, but not enough to cut it in. And he's scratched, so this is SickPool's second chance. He won't be trying to do anything fancy with the cue ball here. Ideally, we would want to take this 6 into the right middle as we look. He's gone around the corner. So he's playing the 6 at distance, and that makes it a little bit more difficult in controlling the positional side of things. Now he needs to watch the draw shot here, because the angle means the cue ball wants to go left towards that middle pocket. And he's taken his eye off it. He's got position in the 7, but crucially he's missed the 6, and again he's only leaving Djreedu the 6 and the 7 to pot to win the rack. So all the work that SickPool's done getting himself back into it, it's very quickly look as if it's going to head back to a 2-rack lead here. And in goes the 7. So SickPool back at the table. Djreedu broke off. No pot on the break, and a nice little kick on the 1 there. And this again needs a good shot to sink the 2 and draw the cue ball back to go on this 3. Again, he's got the second part of the shot correctly, but again, once he's focused on that positional play, he's forgotten about the 2. That was overhit by about 4 or 5 feet. And hitting a shot at that pace, you're really just hoping and praying you get on the ball rather than actually having a controlled shot to try and manufacture the positional play better. So this looks as if it's going to be the toughest shot of the rack here for SickPool. He just needs to get a nice weight on the 4 and keep the cue ball under control. And just roll the 5 in because the cue ball's coming off the side railing out for the 6. No major positional shot needed here. And this is going to be slightly a problem. The angle in the 6 is not nice. The cue ball wants to get into that pocket, so he's had to be careful. And this is going to be the rack winner. Is he going for the bank? And that's risky. But he's got it. He could have cut that in, it was tough, but he's took the risk in the bank. So once again, SickPool's on the comeback trail. And that brings his deficit back to one rack again. Djreedu still leads by 4 racks to 3. And we're still on a race to 7, remember. Well, it's becoming a night of the dry breaks, I think, here. No shot in the break and no shot for Djreedu. But again, there's lots of cover there, so... Well... Again, he's went for the heave hole. That's a delicate little shot in the 1. Got the gap onto the 2, and again it needs another delicate shot in the 2 here. Just to hold the pace in the cue ball, to hold the cue ball up this end here for the 3. Well, it looks plain sailing from this point. And taking this 6 ball into the middle pocket makes it a lot simpler for the run out. So just needs to roll the 7 in, roll the 8 down the right rail, take the cue ball. Well, I think he's come out a bit more than he actually wanted to there, because the simple shot would have been just to roll this 8 in and roll through. Well, that's an inch or 2 short for comfort. But in goes the 9. So now we've got a tied match again. It's now 4 racks all, and SickPool hoping for a bit of luck in the break here. Once again, we've got no success in the break. I think we've seen 1 ball go in the break in this match so far. I think that's all we've seen. prizes for guessing what's going to happen here. He's going to go for a blast in the 3 and try and bank it onto this 9, and he's got it. And again, no sooner has SickPool got himself back into it, but Djreedu has stolen the rack with a bank combo, and the 9 was sitting there for the taking. And once again, a dry break, and SickPool back at the table, and really this time he's got to run this rack. He can't make any mistakes, particularly late on in it. Now, the problem was we're playing shots at distance here, and this isn't good for comfort to leave things at a distance. And he just needs to be careful. Just a simple roll in the 4, but needs to keep the cue ball away from the side rail and also leave an angle. Now let's have a look behind here. Well, he needs to try and avoid this 7 ball. If he tries to stun up the table, the odds are he's possibly going to hit that 7. It's difficult to judge. Well, he's just played it a soft stun, and again we're leaving it at distance, so this is a crucial shot. Come off that top rail as we look, and back down here with a nice angle to drop behind the 8. And again we'll have a look and see. Well, he needs to dig down in the cue ball a bit here and get a little bit of draw on that somehow, because if he's risking colliding with the 8, that's the shot. Now we're going to follow through and off the side rail and out. He needs to hit it hard enough. Cue ball's got to travel a wee bit here. And that's pretty good. Well, back to 5 racks all, and again SickPool with the break. And once again, absolutely nothing. Not a sniff of a ball going in on the break in this rack. Djreedu having a look at the table here. Now, does that 2 go past the 8? Yes, it does. And played totally the wrong shot there. And it's only good fortune it's actually left him a sight on that 2 ball. Well, the 2 looks spectacular enough, but positionally it's lacking a fair bit. But he's played the safe, and I think he's almost got the snooker as well. Well, SickPool gets the kick in the 3, but he hasn't left it safe, so here's a chance. Just drop the 3 in. Well, I think he's gone too straight in the 4. Let's have a look. Yep, he needs to just draw it back. That's a better shot. Got the cue ball over to the right. Got a good sight on the 6. And this is the... Oh. Well, he felt the pressure there. He knew that he had to get on the 7. Didn't exactly play the greatest of positional shots to get on the 7. But at least he had given himself a shot at it. But SickPool's got nothing better here. This is a tough one. And he knows that if he's going for it, he has to get it, because this 7 and out handicap is really going to tell with this next shot. And he's played it well. How's the cue ball? He needs to be careful here. The shot to play would be the plain ball pot, because that's the best way of ensuring the 7 goes in, but the cue ball is going to go over to that right hand corner pocket. But he's okay. And he should be home and dry in this rack, and it looks like SickPool is going to go into the lead for the first time in the match at the crucial point. Oh dear, that was a disaster. That was a disaster. Looked as if he had nothing better to do than just roll that 8 ball in, and as it is, he's now sitting at the point of no return. Djreedu just needed to pot the 8, but again, with the trend of the match so far, absolutely nothing in the break again. SickPool's back at the table. This time he's at the point of no return. And already he's faced with a difficult positional shot. There's the angle there to bring the cue ball off this bottom rail. He can play it with inside English, he can go around a corner, but then he's risking colliding with the 5 or the 9, and he's played it with inside English to check it back. He's actually played that too well. That cue ball was fizzing off the rail there, and he's overhit it. And he's given himself a tough out. Again, playing this 4 ball at distance makes it more difficult to control the cue ball for this 5. Now again, he wants to play them at distance. This is never going to be the case that is going to help you run racks. As we've seen what happened with that 8 ball, he had to play that at distance, and he sold that rack down the river. But he's played a good shot there. That's a good recovery shot. Stunned that 5 in, got good control on the cue ball, sitting pretty on the 6. And the only thing that's going to go disastrously wrong here is that 9 ball is in the line of sight for this 7, so he needs to get the cue ball well out of the way of that. And again, it needs a good controlled shot here. He needs to draw this. He can draw the 7, but is he going to try and force the cue ball round? No, again, he's playing at distance. Now, is this 8 ball going to come back to haunt him again? Well, he's sort of a bit in no man's land here. It's going into the top right. So he needs to judge the angle right. And he's managed to just squeeze it in. So he's got the match all tied up. We're 6 racks all. SickPool breaking, looking for 1 ball in the break, 1 chance in this final rack decider. In goes the 8 ball, I think. Well, he's got a shot on the 1. It's a thin cut, and difficult to say whether he can avoid this 2. I think he might just clip this 2 ball here. Ideally, he would want to take the cue ball off the bottom rail as we look back up the table and back down for the 2, but I don't think he can avoid the hitting the 2 here. Well, he's managed to avoid hitting the 2, but unfortunately he's hit the 7 and left himself hooked on the 2. Now what's he lining up to try and play here? Well, he's got the jump stick out, but... Well, I think that's the jump stick. Is it the jump stick? Well, I would give him 10 out of 10 for thinking ahead there, because he's looked at the fact that Djreedu's got the 7 ball, and of course the 9 ball is the money balls. The 8 ball of course went in the break, so Djreedu's got 1 less money ball. And so what SickPool did there was make sure he tried to tie the 7 ball up, so he played deliberate foul and given Djreedu the opportunity to try and put him in more trouble, but as it has, he's made a bit of a hash of that safety shot. So SickPool has an opportunity here to win the match, and if he gets good position on that 5 ball, he's certainly going to disturb the 7. But don't forget, he's still to get on the 6, so there's a fair bit of work to be done here to win this racket this visit. Oh dear. Well, he's missed the 4 and he's left the edge of it showing, and that 5 and 9 is a combination that can be made, and that's what Djreedu's lining up to play right now. And that's well played, a nice pace. So SickPool made the mistake again on the 4, and Djreedu capitalises on it, and he wins the match by 7 racks to 6, and SickPool goes on to the 1 loss side.